Tomb of the Spider Queen, game number 1, ladies and gentlemen. So, we are still in the losers bracket, and at this point, we are starting to thin out the teams that still have a chance to make it into the playoffs directly through Group A. We now have Team Rip going up against the Enjoyers, another best of 3 series here at the Murky Cup. So, once again, quick reminder, heroes can only be played once within a series in this tournament here, rules that we've now used for years in lots of tournaments, and this one is no exception. So every single hero that you see in a series cannot be played again, but of course this also has a bounty system. We have a bounty system in the tournament, and in case that you're not really familiar with this, here are the bounties that the teams can complete as we're going through the tournament. And the whole way this works is that we have the prize pool essentially split. There's currently 1,000 euros as a prize pool for the tournament. It's the normal prize pool. The top teams will get a share of those 1,000 euros. And then we have a second prize pool. It's the bounty pool. And again, this is fully crowdfunded. You can contribute to that crowdfunding. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, there's a link to the crowdfunding in the description of the video as well. By the way, this graphic that you see right here is also linked, so you can check that out too if you want to outside of the stream to double check which bounties are up. So the crowdfunding is basically a second prize pool up to 1,000 euros. Anything that comes in above will be used for future tournaments that we have here. But the idea is that teams, when they complete a bounty, they get a bounty point, they get a bounty ticket, and they can accumulate a lot of those over the course of the tournament. And at the end of the tournament, we're going to take a closer look at how many were completed in total and how many each team completed, and then the teams get a share of that bounty pool, of that second prize pool. So the more they are dipping into those bounties, the more they complete, the more money they're going to get then at the end of all of it. Or if they deny a bounty to the opponent. So this is something where they have to make a risk-reward assessment where they have to say, okay, these are all essentially just handicaps going into a game. Do we want to do that? Do we just focus on victory? It's totally optional. They don't have to do any of this. They can if they want to have a share of that bounty prize pool. But again, it's always an optional choice for the teams here. And it's been a lot of fun. I mean, we have seen tons of these bounties already, and it's been pretty epic. So once again, you find all of these links in the description if you want to contribute here. Oftentimes teams have been asking, especially in YouTube comments, if they can contribute to tournaments directly. That's the best way to do it right now. So, yeah. Game number 1 in this series. I would expect that we're going to get some bounty attempts here too. But of course, Rip against the Enjoyers. This is going to be a bit of a tough one. These teams are fairly evenly matched, and since we are in a losers bracket already, whichever team loses the series is out of the group. They're out of Group A, so this makes it pretty important that you win this one if you can. One of the reasons also why we have, for example, Cho'Gall immediately banned here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. So it should be a fun one. One of the things, by the way, that is new in this tournament, we also award teams now half a point if they try a bounty and they fail to complete it. A team can fail bounties as often as they want. You can only complete the same bounty once, but you can fail a bounty as many times as you want. Now, there's multiple reasons for it. Point number 1, since you can only play hero once within a series, you can't just like play the same bounty over and over again in the same match. That already doesn't work. And also, the whole idea of like, hey, what if we just like try bounties and we fail them, doesn't really help you, because failing a bounty means you lose the match. that gets you out of the tournament very quickly. Should probably note that you only can fail or complete one bounty per map. If a team comes, for example, in and they're playing a game, let's say with Khaldor and Murky, and they win the game, they can only complete one of those 2 bounties. They have to make a decision which bounty they want to mark off as completed. Normally that doesn't happen. I think in 3 or 4 tournaments where we now ran this system, it happened once. The team then made a decision, it was all fine. But just so you guys have a little bit of an idea about the nuances. If there's any questions, again, put a comment into the YouTube video and I'm happy to answer all of the questions that might still be open here. Khaldor bounty, for example, attempted now by the Enjoyers. And let's see what Team Rip is going to pick as their last choice. And if you watch this on YouTube, again, hit that thumbs up button. Give the video a like. It really helps to promote the video a bit. And maybe we're reaching more former Heroes of the Storm fans that might come back. We've actually had a lot of those comments in the recent past when some videos went viral. So it actually really helps. And with Khaldor locked in, it seems like we're going to see an attempt to go into a convection bounty from Team Rip. So, ladies and gentlemen, game number 1 in the best of 3 series here in the losers bracket of Group A between the Enjoyers and Team Rip. First game of the best of 3 series. We are on Tomb of the Spider Queen. And now over on the left side, in blue, we have Sven on Leoric, Krankel on Johanna, Vasilisk on Malfurion, Bloodcool with Convection on level 1 for Kel'Thas. So each team attempting a bounty right now with Azzy on Maiev. And over on the right side of the map, we have their opponents, the Enjoyers, with Itrax on Gazlo. Give him the clamps. Lavakal on Anduin. We get Arian on Murden. Alvarus on Chromie. And Brirs on Lunara, going full Bambi on us. Just at the beginning of the game, to make sure that there is no confusion, you do not have to complete Convection in order to successfully claim the bounty. You only have to pick it and to win the game. So if Convection never gets completed, if Kel'Thas gets killed over and over again, but the blue team still wins the map, the bounty is declared as completed. It just makes it too complicated if you have to also complete the quest. We've seen quite a few attempts to get something done with Convection Kel'Thas, but it oftentimes backfires very, very heavily, even if you win the game, because just killing Kel'Thas a few times will make it nearly impossible to complete it. So yeah, that's not a requirement here. But with Gazlo now in the mix, one of these teams will definitely complete a bounty. We also have Jojo now with Laws of Hope. This is actually something that is also quite interesting to me personally, because we have a bounty where Alexstrasza combined with Stitches is just lots of fun, and you can get a bounty point if you play the two of them. And it's something that we've seen in the past. You can end up with an absolute ludicrous hit point pool on Stitches and a lot of movement speed for him if you combine the two. But technically, we could also add as a bounty that if you play Alexstrasza with Laws of Hope on Johanna, that would also give you a bounty point. Not quite sure what you guys think about that, but that would be an alternative that could be interesting too. Because if you get Jojo and an absolutely absurd amount of stacks on her level 1 here, then the self-sustain that she has would be ridiculous. I mean, at the end of the day, you would probably end up with like your own personal ancestral there. So that might be interesting too. I think the Stitches variation is probably still a bit more fun, just because him being totally unkillable because of his hit point pool, and this proccing a massive Devour spike whenever you're using that talent is kind of nice. But again, we could make adjustments in any future tournaments here as well. So for now, the level 4 talent slowly kicking in for the teams. We just have the rotation between the lanes. Haven't really seen anything too crazy. Down at the bottom of the map, they're trying to steal the Siege Giants, but they're a bit too late to the party. Could hope for a kill on Sven, but yeah, that Stormbolt is just half a second too late for Muradin, or it could have put Leoric into some trouble here. Gems have not been delivered yet. The teams are slowly starting to get towards a potential 50 gems where they can start the turn-in. But by now, we're looking also on Muradin for Thunderburn. So we're going to get healing static on level 13 from the looks of it, instead of Bronze Spear and Rage. Also, Shando's Clarity. Oh, and there's the first kill. Lunara is gone. Shando's Clarity always sounds to me like a bottle of, like, spirits. Like, that's definitely the hard stuff right there. Somebody suggested it sounds more like a wheat brand, and I suppose that would make sense as well. I mean, Malfurion just already looks like a pothead, so that makes perfect sense to me too. I'm not quite sure which is the reasonable one of the two, but yeah, Shando's Clarity, definitely just the ring of it, is already leaning in either one of those directions. Now, with Gazlo, we get on level 1 the Rocket Boots and the easy peasy Dimensional Ripper. So, the Gazlord in action. Can't wait to see level 10 Gazlo just starting to wreck some things over here. But Kel'Thas, he's now at 5 stacks on his level 1. So he's slowly starting to build some of those up and immediately gets targeted. I mean, if you don't have Mana Addict, you obviously have A, a mana problem, and B, also the survivability that you're normally looking for is not quite there. But the blue team comes in with a kill on Chromie. So they go for the Chrome Star, and she says bye-bye and goes the way of the Dodo Bird. So 2 kills, 2-0. Level 7 is already in play for Team Rip, and this should actually allow them to work around the turn-in. And they delivered 20 gems right there. Definitely have enough to get the first web weaver away. And with that slight lead in experience, they could go to level 20, to level 10 very quickly and maybe get 2 turn-ins in a row. Jojo is also about to hit a little bit of a quest reward here, which is going to make her own self-sustain a little bit stronger. Laws of Hope is actually a pretty nice talent, and we see it more and more now on Tomb of the Spider Queen, which I absolutely love. Those are the kind of adjustments towards the map that I think make a whole lot of sense with the talent system that we have in the game. And we have seen more and more of it just recently. Now, level 7 gives us also the choking pollen. I can definitely relate. So, yeah, having some allergies occasionally and at the end of spring, I can absolutely relate to that. All the pollens should be choked until they all die. And, well, at the top, the web weavers are getting taken down pretty quickly. Whereas in the middle, only the wall falls. It's really the bot lane where I think they can do a bit more damage, but even here, it's fairly limited. Gazlo is still sitting at 28 gems and has done a great job at defending this. So, first web weaver wave breaks down a few walls, the towers are gone. This is about the norm. Lately, we had a lot of early objectives actually breaking through forts or damaging them severely. But this is a little bit more on the normal side, so the defense was pretty solid from the Enjoyers. They're losing a few walls, but they haven't lost too many hit points on the forts themselves. But as I already said earlier, with that lead in experience, the blue team is now closing in on level 10. And once they have that, they could try and go for a double turn-in right away. Because they have now 44 gems out of the 55 that they need in order to complete that. So there's a good chance for them to make that happen. And, well, off we go. Bloodcool turns in. The rest of the team is going to try and follow up on this. We got Phoenix in on level 10. 15 stacks now for Jojo. Ah, she's getting a lot. Jojo is really busy getting herself a couple of globes. And they are now aiming for that second turn-in. Atrax, 37. Uh-oh. That's a problem. Yeah, he's dead. He's dead. That's 37 gems that they're going to lose now unless Muradin is able to pick them up as he tries to come down to the bottom of the map. They go for Urin immediately. A little bit of body blocking is happening. He picks up a lot, gets disc. They have level 10 by now. He will have to pop his avatar here. And they are trying for that kill. 37 gems for him now. And Arian gets saved by Anduin. Gazlo dying was definitely a huge problem, and it was a dangerous moment. Down at the bottom of the map, now that the red team gets their web weavers, we still have lots of damage on that fort, so the siege giants have done a number on this. Thornwood Vines for Lulnara. Gazlo, by the way, has gone straight into the Robo-Goblin. So our Lord and Savior, Robo-Gazlo, is now going to be a thing at that bot lane, where he is so far uncontested. Leo will have to make his way down there. Red team trying to take a few of the walls out as quickly as they can. And yep, Leo is on the move. Itrax is now, without those gems, in a position where he can do a lot more. Muradin picked them up and starts to make a jump on Sven. But they are getting some value down here. They're breaking through the wall, and this is going to be at least some damage on the fort, so not too shabby. 9 stacks for Kalthas with Convection. So we'll see if he's able to complete this. At this point, he's just taking his AoE damage in to try and defend as best as he can. Frankel, there's the Entomb again. This time they're going for Lulnara. But Gazlo is giving Jojo a run for her money here. Jojo's dropping a bit low, but with Maiev all of a sudden flanking in with a quick disc, this might still be a problem for Gazlo. Gets saved by Anduin, so the fight is a bit split because of the wall here. Chromie with the slowing sands helping out a ton, but now they're moving for Muradin again, and he really needs to get out. With 41 gems in your hands, you need to make sure that you're not going to be the one that gets destroyed here. Nice double connect also with the Stormbolt, but here's again the chance for the blue team to turn in and get their second web weaver away. That's a pretty active game. Not a single kill yet for the Enjoyers, but they did decent damage with the first objective. Now, of course, the blue team with a huge opportunity to take some forts out and gain momentum in this game, to snowball this a little bit. But, yeah, we have 11 stacks now for Kalthas, and he is the top damage for the blue team. It's actually kind of funny when you look at the damage numbers. They are way behind what the red team has. Look at the red team. Lunar on 20, Chromie on 23,000, Gazlo on 18,000. All three of them way ahead of anybody on the side of Team Rip. But it's Team Rip who has 3 kills. With all the damage that the Enjoyers have, they haven't gotten a single kill thus far. So, a bit annoying from their perspective, but also showcases again that damage isn't everything. It's more a question of how well you connect it and what you do with your attacks and the tools that you have available. 13 stacks now for Bloodcool. And yeah, he is actually getting a lot of stacks and might be able to complete that quest too. So the first fort in the middle is about to go down. Nicely done. Down at the bottom of the map, they're trying to go for Itrex again. Gazlo gets attacked, will be slowed down. Jojo, blessed shield. Oh, what? How did that condemn miss? I thought Gazlo was a goner, but the condemn somehow missed. I'm not quite sure what the passing was like there, but Gazlo makes it out as a result. Now they're jumping on Malfurion, who gets a Stormbolt to the face for his efforts and gets murdered. But Itrex is about to go down too, and that's 11 gems that they're now losing here. So the red team is again on the retreat, but at least they now got a kill. But they have to try and escape here, and a lot of the heroes are mega low in HP already. Blue team is not looking much better, on the other hand. They need to get Sven, for example, back to safety because he has 15 gems. Oh, stayed a little bit too long for my liking here. Just into the range of Lunara, but is able to dodge that out quite nicely. Good juke from him. 17 stacks now for Convection. He's going to complete that. He's actually going to complete Convection. 18,000 damage for Kel'Thas. Lots and lots of siege damage, by the way, for him. But here comes the turn-in for the red team. It's blow for blow. I mean, when it comes to the objective, the teams are making the moves right there. One turn-in after another. Time and time again right now. Yeah, Web Weavers are going to touch ground in just a second. Only Malfurion died on the blue team side. Gazlo on level 13 with the positive reinforcement. I think we have a little bit too much of that these days. But Gazlo's still a strong believer, as I can see. Team Rip with... That's what Tim is for. Tim is the guy for the positive reinforcements. This is why we always worked so well as a duo. Trixler comes in as the designated Care Bear. Here's the nice one, and I'm going more for the Drill Sergeant commentary. But right now, we got 16 talents kicking in. Leo, by the way, about to fall at the top lane, but he made it out. Needs to be careful that he doesn't get taken out by the Web Weavers, for example. But yeah, this is actually going to cost the blue team quite a bit of ground. Maiev, on the other hand, at the bot lane, did not only defeat the Web Weavers, but is also moving in to destroy the bottom right fort, so she's going to get that. 16 talents are now in, which gives us the Royal Focus. And Kel'Thas now with Ignite. He's one single connect away from completing the quest. One single connect. And he has the fully completed Convection on level 1. So that's going to give them a bit more safety. Forts are still standing for Team Rip. They're all damaged, but none of them has fallen. Now with level 16, we're also getting the Shrinking Vacuum. And, yeah, 21,000 damage now for Kel'Thas. 35,000 for Chromie. 30,000 for our Lord and Savior, Gazlo. And here comes the turn-in for the blue team. They've already destroyed 2 forts. So now the one at the top lane is going to fall 100%. Unless the Enjoyer is now forced to fight and just take them out. But barring that, the top side fort should fall. Well, they're actually not even moving to the top lane. If they completely abandon that and not even try to go for it, that's not going to be an issue. But Gazlo needs to deal with the bottom of the map, for example. Convection completed. Nicely done. Round of applause here for Kel'Thas. Well done. That's going to spike his damage at least a little bit. I mean, to be honest, that extra 100 damage isn't really all that great. I would love if that was a bit more and was absolutely worth it, but I don't really think it is. Not for the risk that you're taking. Blessed Shield with a big connect here. Huge one. They're pushing this past the fort, and they take it out in the process, but they haven't been able to get a kill. Gazlo still defending the side lanes as best as he can, but the keep in the middle is taking damage. The wall has been taken out, and that Web Weaver here has been doing work. Even at the bottom of the map, I mean, you have the wall taking damage too, Siege Giants chipping in a little bit more. So, yep, well done. And while they are defending, they go for the boss. Alright, they are level ahead. A bit more than that even. I'm a bit surprised, but the red team is not ready for this. Obviously, vision was granted, and they saw them defend in the middle and at the bot lane, so they just thought, hey, we have enough time to go for this. And indeed they do. So they take the boss at the top. Now they can also try and force the fight here and see if they can pick up a kill or two. But the disc of Maiev misses. That would have been a real nice connect if they can force the battle here. But are they pushing with the boss at the top lane? they can get a couple of kills here and deny some gems to the red team, that would go a long way. Again, game number 1. Each team trying for a bounty. 27 stacks also for Jojo. Again, with Laws of Hope, that means that she has, at this point, 30% of the extra heal on the max health. And if she picks up another 2 globes, then we're gonna talk about 35. So, that's pretty neat. Yeah, gets trapped here. Should still be fine. Yeah, instant Iron Skin, Stormbolt. Does not connect the stun. They obviously still play very heavily around the advantage that they have with experience. They want to have the early level 20. They are delivering the gems that they're holding. Azzy with Maiev was holding 25 and got rid of them, so that gives them a bit more safety there too. But now Lunara, she got really close to getting the turn in. They hold 99 gems at this point. Nena wants a word. She's going to be happy about this. Half a level until 20. 28,000 damage for Khaldor now. Yeah, he connects quite some nice damage with those flame strikes at this point. But of course, they also chip in a lot through Leoric with the drains. Lunara with 41,000 on the other side. Leo now pushing at the bottom of the map, by the way. And it is again Malfurion who's in trouble. And he goes down. 20 is in. Just as they lose Malfurion, they get the advantage. But now they're losing Kel'Thas. Oh boy. Yeah, this looked great for them. With Storm Talents, they would have been able to play around that advantage, but it's not going to happen. Then again, they're killing Anduin. They're killing Gaslow. So there's the double kill. They go for the triple, baby. What is happening all of a sudden? The blue team, after losing Kel'Thas and Malfurion, are turning this entire thing around. 95 gems on Muradin. He is 5 gems short of getting the secret mount here. Incredible. But I still can't believe that they turned the fight around. This is insane. This is honestly insane. This was a lost battle. That was a lost fight. And then they were able to just drop them with Jojo, Leoric, and Maiev. Muradin picked up pretty much, not all of the gems, but most of them. And now has 95, which is 96, which is ridiculous. He's going for the triple digits in just a second here. Crazy. Absolutely crazy stuff. The slows that we had from Jojo, from Leo, and then Maiev coming in and just cleaving the shit out of them. With level 20, we get the Radiating Faith. We now have also Flamethrower, obviously. And here comes the attack. The red team will be ready to defend. They need their level 20 talents, but still, that is just... that was nasty. And it's going to be a big push now. This is going to cost them a lot. Damage output, as you can see, Maiev is now sitting at 25,000, Leo at 28k, Jojo at 22,000. I mean, all of them with pretty decent numbers here. They can't reach the numbers that we're seeing from heroes like Chromie or Lunara, but with 8 kills to 3, it's pretty clear that they're absolutely playing this the right way. So here comes the attack against Leoric. He's still totally fine. Makes it. Actually close. Oh, yep. Gaslow gets the kill. A little bit too much damage over time. And Leorki is just ghosting around. But it doesn't change the fact that a lot of those keeps are now under pressure. The one at the bottom of the map has already fallen. Here in the middle, next keep is about to get destroyed. Yes, it's Winion time, baby. They take it out, and now just a quick retreat from Team Rip. Lots of pressure now. Let's not forget that the blue team hasn't lost a single fort yet. They still hold on to all of their forts in this. So, yep, as it stands right now, 100 gems. Nice, good one.
Hail to the king, baby.
Love it. Secret mount unlocked. It's so secret that you can't even pick it because you can't find it because it's secret, you know? Yeah, Leorki, on the other hand, I mean, he is activating his trade a lot right now. Lots of trade value from Sven at this point. But, yeah, can they turn this game around? I mean, Maiev is already pushing the bottom of the map again. Essentially just trying to escort some catapults in towards the core now that we're at the 19-minute mark. If it comes to that, they're gonna hurt. And they're realizing that too. Interrupt against Muradin? Nope, not happening. Muradin delivers. Still holds 40. And yeah, catapults are scratching the core a bit, but with Web Weavers touching ground in just a moment, that's not going to be a problem. Just in case. Gaslow is taking care of it anyways, so yeah, not an issue. But Leo will be back in a moment. 36 stacks for Jojo, 4 more, and she's getting a little bit more sustain for herself. Already doing pretty well here, though. Whoa. Azzy. Massively attacked. I mean, Lunara is doing tons of damage. Has gone into Thornwood Vines now. So, yeah, lots and lots of damage from her here. This talent is obviously going to be a bit of a game changer for Bruce. So we'll see what... And Lunara has already taken top damage because of it. So, yeah, this is huge. I mean, just check this out. It's absolutely ridiculous. Recently patched, obviously. So this is going to allow them to get massive amount of damage out with these pushes. They might actually change the outcome of this game after all. They're down to one single key, but they've now destroyed the fort at the top. They're destroying the fort in the middle, and I just don't see a way how the fort at the bot lane gets saved either. If they can now go and try and take some of those keeps out too, that would be pretty huge. For now, I think it's only going to be the forts that they're going to be taken care of, but they have another turn-in available, or they will be in a second. And yeah, Lunara is just getting massive amounts of AoE damage out now. I mean, she is just carpeting the floor with that. 185,000 siege damage for her at this point. So yeah, just showcasing that pretty neatly. And, well, this could actually flip the game. Honestly, a second ago it looked like the red team had no chance of ever coming back into this. Typical 6.5 out of 10. No comeback mechanics. But with that turn-in, and with all of that push power, that is a bit crazy. Because now this script could flip. If Muradin gets the turn-in, they might have a chance here. Right now, the blue team is still ahead, despite the fact that they just lost all of their forts. Let's not forget that they are in a position where they are still holding on to their keeps, at least. And, well, Muradin is gone, so that was a big step. Getting Muradin's kill, that was huge. Gazlowe with the bomb toss as well. But the blue team is now going towards the boss, and that will likely eliminate the last keep of the game. So the Enjoyers are in a bit of a weird position right now, because they did actually really, really well. When it all looked lost, they won the fight, they got the turn in, and then they started to push and take structures out. But now that there's a glimmer of hope on the horizon, they lose their main tank. And now with a level 22 boss barreling down that top lane, they will lose the last keep. And all that they're trying to do here is somehow defend the core. That's the only thing that they're trying to do. Not lose the game so that they still have a chance to get that next turn in. But with Muradin down, they lost also the gems. Muradin dying was horrible for them. That's 40 gems or so that they lost in that. Oh! And Kel'Thas really chipping in the damage now too. He's at 60,000 damage, so he's really catching up at this point. And this is not looking good for the Enjoyers. Not even a little bit. Lunara, I mean, again, damage from her. But is this gonna be, is this possible? Can they somehow defend here? Malfurion is dead. Gazlowe dies too, though, and the core is falling, and it's falling quickly. Leo dies, but this is game. Map number 1, Tomb of the Spider Queen, goes to Team RIP as they complete the Convection Bounty. GG.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Infernal Shrines, game number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, it is bounty time again. We're heading into the second map of the best of 3 series here in the losers bracket. Now, a quick reminder, the 10 heroes that have been played cannot be played again, so they are already out, so that rule still persists. Teams have attempted a few bounties. The Kel'Thas Convection bounty was now completed by Team RIP. The Enjoyers were not able to win with Gazlowe, but they still get half a bounty point, of course. And yeah, so they at least get something out of it. It's not a total loss if you can't complete a bounty. We might actually change this a little bit in the future. I honestly haven't really made up my mind yet if half a point is too much, if we should go for like a third or maybe even less. We'll see. It's not really something that you can abuse too much, but I suppose we're gonna collect some feedback, not only from everybody that's watching, but also from people, from the players themselves, and see how things go. But just the general concept, I think, is a solid one, and it always makes sense to just incentivize people a bit, but not going too hard here. But yeah, we'll have to think about if it should be a fourth, a third, half. for this one, we're trying this out, and over time, I suppose, we're going to end up on a number that makes the most sense. As we're heading into game number 2, into Infernal Shrines, we have Cho'Gall banned out again against the Enjoyers. So they played Cho'Gall in the past. You can obviously, after completing a bounty, still play the hero. You just don't get a reward anymore if you play the hero. But one of the reasons why we're doing all of this is because there are teams that have played and have like strong affinities for, let's say, Cho'Gall. There have been a few teams that have played Cho'Gall even without bounties. Not a whole lot, but every now and then. So if you would allow teams to complete the same bounty several times, and they would of course just like go for a one-trick pony approach and just try and lock the same bounty in over and over again, and this is kind of counterproductive, because what we are at the end of the day trying to do is create some fun games and also make it so that teams that might not end up in the top 3 get a little bit of prize money, at least some pizza money, you know, from the bounty pool if they are trying bounties, if they're completing a couple. And that's the entire idea here. So as Hogger gets picked first, as we're heading into Infernal Shrines, let's see what the Enjoyers are up to right now. For them, it's obviously a little bit of a weird position to be in at this point, because they find themselves in the losers bracket, down 1 map. Do you still try for a bounty here? Or do you just say, okay, screw it, we need to go as hardcore meta as we possibly can, not give ourselves a handicap, but immediately just try and win this map so that we don't get dropped out of the group. So it's a little bit of a weird situation that they find themselves in here right now. For Team Rip, it's much easier. They are in the lead, so there is no reason to not try a bounty at this point. And it seems, yep, there's Stitches and Alex Straza. I like it. Awesome. So we get Stitches with a huge hit point pool, if that works out for them. So they're definitely playing for the late game with that. And they're going to try and get Krankle to a point where he's absolutely unkillable. I would love in that situation, by the way, also a bit of an adjustment on Stitches to try and spec in some of the Devour talents, because Devour as a talent procs off the max HP that a hero has. So if Stitches gets that massive amount of hit points through his level 1 talent and Alex Straza's help, then he is nearly unkillable whenever he's able to use Devour, because it just tops up his hit points like there's no tomorrow. So this is a pretty cool one for them to try here. And the question that still remains is, are the Enjoyers now in a position where they're saying, you know what, we're going for a bounty as well, or do they just go try full meta at this point? They started things off with Deckard, Kane, and Blaze. Very strong when you're fighting for the shrines, of course. Tracer, in this case, banned out. Still looking at a potential Medivh pick, to be honest. With Stitches taken, you can pick Medivh yourself, of course, if you're trying to go for some kind of kidnap combo, where Gorge leads into a straight-up portal. But even on the other hand, if you are picking Medivh as the Enjoyers, for example, if that fits into your comp, and Stitches gets a Gorge through, you just provide a portal, you provide a shield, and you save the target, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Here's Medivh. So just as I'm talking about it, Medivh gets picked, and we get Diablo together with him. So technically, you could also go into Leyline plus Apocalypse now as a combo, which is another one that they could try and pull off here. But yeah, if the red team had an inkling of picking Medivh for themselves, then that was just destroyed. Shut down quickly by their opponents. So, what are we getting instead? Hogger already has a good side laner. Falstad and Junkrat for damage. So we have Gorge Gust for isolation plays and trying to get a kill. Junkrat for the trap, which is also fantastic, of course, when you're getting a Gorge out. But Junkrat also great when you're trying to get some Shrine minions that are going in with the damage from outside of a Shrine. Another idea, by the way, for a bounty would also be Junkrat with a Rocket Ride. I think it's hilarious. Rocket Ride is kind of funny. So, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that. But Junkrat Rocket Ride might be a fun one too. And here comes our final pick, and it is Vala. Alright, so Vala, the final pick for the Enjoyers. They're down 1 map in the best of 3 series. We're heading straight towards Infernal Shrines. The Enjoyers against Team Rip. Game number 2, Team Rip. I'm just wondering if Junkrat is going to take the Rip tire. So, Sven on Hogger for the blue team. We got Bloodcool on Falstad. Vasilisco with Alex Straza. There we go, the Circle of Life. Generate more regeneration globes. Azion Junkrat and Stitches with Hungry for more. So they can go for race car Stitches and a super high hit point pool with this. As over on the right side, we got Arian on Vala, Alvarus on Medivh, Itrax on Blaze, Diablo gets played by Briss, and we got Lavekal on Deckard Kane. Personally, I'm still a bit curious. Okay, we get the auto attack style for Vala, but level 10 is gonna get interesting because Leyline and Apoc are combos that they could try and execute, but obviously when you're playing on Infernal Shrines, we see most of the time at least the barbecue. And they could go for that to get a lightning breath out there. Sven instantly down. So, yeah, that was a quick one. He just laubert 30 seconds in, and Sven is instantly dead. So, yeah, congratulations. Round of applause. That was a quick kill. And good night, Ogre. Nice knowing you. That was a little bit annoying for the blue team, but alright. By the way, I talked about this obviously a little bit as we were in the draft, but just to again reiterate this. The Enjoyers without a bounty attempt. No bounty on their side, so they're at this point just saying we need to win the game. We're not risking anything anymore. We're down one map in this series already. We don't want to get dropped out of the group. So in order to proceed here, we need to make sure that we have the best team available to win this, and we can't do with the handicap. Oh, Vala! The shield, the heal, and she's alive. It was Schrödinger's Vala for just a second. You could think of her as dead and alive at the same time, but, well, as the box gets opened, Vala dies, and that's 5% of the attack speed gone. So, yeah. Maybe not that great of a start for the red team after all. So, good isolation move, and Team Rip is able to take Vala out very, very early in this game. Now, 14 on Creed of the Hunter, 11 for Mehdi, and all the way towards the top, the solo laners locked into the little one-on-one. 5 stacks for Alexstrasza already. I mean, again, if you really want to completely go in on this combo between Alexstrasza and Stitches, then you need to make sure that Alexstrasza gets those stacks as quickly as possible. And then just keep the two of them together the entire time, and it will make Stitches eventually unkillable. Absolutely unkillable. Now, Vala will, of course, try and have a word with this once that she gets a level 16 talent in Manticore. Portals are going to be really dangerous to the blue team, too. I want to try and go for the camp here, but the red team is actually invading this well, and also, therefore, taking some of the potential globes away from the blue team. So, Alexstrasza already on 7. Getting there quickly. Ogre! Lots of freedom at the top lane. That's an easy tower kill for him right there. And in the middle, again, there's still a little bit of fun to be had. Another mage that he can take down here. And yeah, drop this quickly. That's 8 in the hands of Alexstrasza. 9 stacks for Stitches. We're getting there. Each team with a kill as we're heading into the first objective of the game. It's an Arcane Punisher that we're fighting for this time, and obviously the extra globes that he can take too, if you are able to win this one. But Stitches on level 4 already with the playtime. Alright. And... Jet Propulsion. Sven for second in trouble. But now it's Lavakal who is getting the axe. And Deckard Cain goes down. The old guy gets murdered. Alexstrasza with the Dragon Queen transformation already, and now they're starting to take over on the shrine. Still a lot of points for the Enjoyers, but it doesn't seem like they can regain control of the shrine, and they've already now fallen a little bit behind in balance as well. But Stitches, low, gets the heals, survives a little bit longer than expected. They're about to lock in the Punisher, by the way. That could also, of course, help, and Stitches is still alive and kicking. They're getting, oh, the hook on Blaze, and Atrax gets isolated. Even the Punisher jumps in and is having some fun with this. They get the kill on Blaze. Now they have the Punisher here. The cooldown on the jump has already been procced, so they can destroy the wall easily with the red team not even having a chance to proc this over. Finally, they're getting some action on this, but this is a disaster for the Enjoyers. They're losing too much ground here already, and of course we have now Alexstrasza on 12 stacks, so they're getting dangerously close to complete a level 1 quest where she can just feed additional regeneration globes to Stitches, who's already sitting at 14. Big damage on the fort. Falls that has moved down to the bottom of the map, and the entire wall here is destroyed. The blue team has a 1-level lead over their opponents, and Stitches with 15 stacks now. They go towards the middle. They're gonna get a bit more here, and that's only 1 single globe short of completing Alexstrasza's quest. So, yeah. This is gonna be, potentially at least, problematic for them. With 20, you're getting additional movement speed for Stitches, of course, as well. And at some point, he's going to go full race car on us. And that's the completed quest of Alexstrasza. So right now, she can feed Stitches more and more. And he's a chunky, hungry boy. Ah, the short distance hook just over the wall. Not able to get a kill on Diablo here. Also thanks to Medivh, who of course provides the shield right away. But still, keeping them on their toes here. Now we get Blaze down at the bottom of the map, trying to go for the camp. Vala at least using Stitches as a bit of a pin cushion. Gets hooked, but Alvaros is ready for this. And Alvaros is at 33 stacks himself. So Medivh is doing well. Just has to make sure that he doesn't die, you know. They're trying to go... Oh! Gust used! They get level 10, and they are getting a Gust immediately to secure the camp. So yeah, good for them. Stitches picks up a few more globes, and they can go and invade the next camp here too. Alexstrasza is already in position, can drop another one, and does. So this is going to give Stitches another 2 globes, which puts us to 20 stacks for him. So right now we have him with the extra movement speed. In total he now has 10% movement speed and 500 additional hit points. Not bad for level 6. And again, this is all just starting to ramp up now with Alexstrasza providing more and more for him as this continues. But we have the Enjoyers picking up their own heroic abilities, so that gives us an expected Lightning Fury. We don't see the combo with Leyline, but Leyline, of course, still chosen for the team. Rain of Vengeance for Vala, still 33 stacks for Medivh, so he hasn't completed his quest yet. We'll try and get a bit closer to this. But Alexstrasza is already coming in with another globe for Stitches. Yeah, picking this up really well. But now the red team wants to go for a fight. They want to steal this camp away. The hook comes through. Yeah, here comes the ult. That didn't do too much for them. But they still try and take Stitches out. He starts to gobble up Diablo and is moving him straight into harm's way. Gast into the corner, but he's actually getting pushed out and escapes. Nicely done. A pretty decent effort by the blue team to get that kill here, but they might still be able to pick it up on Blaze. Forced him to take Bunker, and that is of course a big cooldown that he had to use here. The shield, I think Hogger for just a second thought he might be able to get the kill, but far from it. So, Stitches moving back down to the bottom of the map to deal with this. Up at the top left, the camp is now taken. And we already have... Yeah, that's a Frozen Punisher, of course. You kind of need to prioritize that a bit. So they're already moving in on this. And let's see how far they can go here. Alexstrasza, again, coming in with those heals. And Stitches with more and more globes at this point. But they also want to see if they can maybe get to level 13 with this. Falstad, as the global, is still sitting at the top. So he's pushing towards the keep wall. They have a Shaman camp there as well, so the longer Falstad can stay there, the better for them. Leyline is out, and the birdie might have to join the fun. Dragon Queen transformation is in, and the ult is too late to save Junkrat. Alexstrasza not able to save him here. Gast is being used, and that's the end of play, so they get the kill on this. But the birdie is now part of the fight at the bot lane. This is a 4 versus 4 after all. Huge lead on the Shrine, of course, for the Enjoyers. But here comes the play against Vala. She's in trouble, and she makes it. Doesn't lose another Gambit stack, but Diablo gets hooked as he moves through the portal and dies. He's still at his stacks. He's still gone. But the red team wants to take the Punisher. They're still pushing in for this in an attempt to get the remaining stacks that they need here. But with level 13 talents now available, the team is making a play for Alvaros. Medivh saving himself. But this is getting close. Junkrat is back to business. They're trying to take that Shrine. They're trying to take that Punisher. But the blue team is pulling ahead a little bit. Falstad gets the heal. Sven in trouble in the backline. 38 to 36 stacks. And it is the Frozen Punisher for the blue team at the end of the day. With Sven trying to retreat. Vala is gone. She got killed again. And that is now 10% of the attack speed missing that she got through her level 1 quest. And topside, that catapult has done an enormous amount of damage with the help of Falstad earlier. So that keep is low. Well, and I guess Sven, he has the Hoarder pulled, and thanks to that he is able to escape. But the bottom 4 has now fallen on the red team side. They're in more and more trouble as this all continues. Level 14 versus level 12, and the Frozen Punish is of course an absolute menace. Gets baited over the wall, which is about to go down completely. And yeah, more and more globes here also for the big boy. 750 additional hit points for Stitches now. Crankle slowly retreats here. And the ley line kicks in. Alexstrasza with Lifefinder. Did I just miss that? What was he trying to heal here? Was that a misclick? So, Junkrat might have missed something here. Junkrat is gone. Vala gets some kills. They're going for Alexstrasza and take her down too. And, well, with that double kill, that leaves Stitches very much alone. And even with the additional movement speed that he has now, I don't think he's going to be able to escape. But the bottom keep is in trouble. The top keep has already been destroyed. Having the birdie in the game definitely helped them there. So they still need to try and save this one. But just losing the top keep alone is already a huge problem. And this one is so low that any push later on will easily destroy it. So great for the Enjoyers to pick up a couple of kills here. But yeah, they need a lot more. I mean, honestly, they need to build up a lot of momentum if they want to have a chance to bring this back. There's no level 16 for the red team. Team Rip already has the additional talent. We have Hogan 33,000 damage. Vala basically on the same numbers now. And they have a bit of momentum. So that's the good news. They have a little bit of momentum in all of this. But yeah, this is still going to be pretty tricky. First of all, they got to go to level 16 now. Vala dying twice removes some of the attack speed. Once you have 16, you can threaten Stitches a little bit more. He's on 30 stacks right now, which is nice, but it's not crazy. So he got some assistance through Alexstrasza, but it's nothing absolutely nasty, where Stitches is already an absolute monster. I could get to that point, of course, if he's a bit more diligent of capturing also the globes that he gets from these camps. But there were quite a few of the mercenary camps where he didn't pick up anything. You want to get him to 40 at least if you can, for the extra movement speed that he gains with this. That would also, of course, then mean 1,000 additional hit points in total, which is always neat. Diablo, talking about stacks, needs a bit more to get to his full completion on the baseline. And here comes Manticore now. This is where things are gonna get interesting, because this doesn't quite complete Vala's build, but it is a huge step forward for her regarding the damage output, and they need that. They got the kills early, but yeah, on a macro level, they're way behind. Structurally, they've taken such a beating that this is a problem. And this bottom keep in particular could very easily fall when we're talking about the objective in the mid lane, because I would expect Falstad to try and push this again. Now, Stitches still working around a couple of the globes here, sitting at 34 now, so missing 6 for the extra movement speed that he can claim. And a shrine is activated. So Falstad is going to try and hide at the bot lane a little bit. Obviously, Blaze will now take care of the wave here, but Falstad is definitely going to make a move for this. It's only a matter of time. Once that he sees Blaze moving away here, he's going to make a move on this for sure. And he should. That that keep needs to fall. That keep needs to go down. Sven is pushing the top lane out. And now that we're fighting for the middle shrine, both teams have level 16 talents, as already discussed earlier. Hook gets dodged. Nice. And Falstad is exactly where he needs to be. He's going to push for this, and he's going to push for this hard. He's going to try and get them that bottom keep. In the middle, eventually it's going to be needed there. But the team can also... They could let this go and just play for level 20. That is an option. Just have Falstad take down the bottom key, play for level 20, and play it out that way. That's definitely a thing, and I believe this is what we're seeing here. Leyline is out. The heal is immediately there, but, well, Junkrat still dies. Junkrat goes down, but the Gorge on Diablo, they're trying to keep him away from the portal. Diablo is not going to die here. He is not going to die. He gets the shield. The bottom keep, by the way, has been destroyed by Falstad, as expected. But the red team is now going to lock in their objective. They're going to get this one. The Mortar Punisher for the Enjoyers. But as I said, bottom keep gone, top keep gone. They're down to a single keep, and they haven't destroyed a single fort yet. This will change now. But is this too little too late? That's the big question. Junkrat and Horga, roughly on the same numbers in regards to hero damage as Vala. There's a lot of catapults starting to move in here. 3 catapults at that top lane. Somebody has to go back and deal with this. I understand the need of the Enjoyers to come in and take some structures out and maybe even destroy a keep with this, but they're going to lose some hit points on their core if they're not careful. Stitches gets jumped, but the heal is there, and Crankle is still alive and kicking. Great move from Alexstrasza. Dragon Queen is out. Gorge against Diablo once again, but the middle keep is about to go down. The core shield on the red team side is falling though, and he has the kill on Diablo. Diablo can now defend if he has to. Another hook. And can they hold on to that keep? If they take the minions out, then they definitely can. I think the keep will still be there. Junkrat turned it around. Now we have level 20 for the team as well. Diablo already defending against the catapults down at the bottom of the map. Stitches went straight for hungry Stitches. And we got the Ritual of Life now. Huge burst heal whenever we see that attack coming from the Enjoyers. And as they're going for a few more camps, we are getting Crankle closer and closer to 40. Again, one more globe and he's going to be at 1,000 additional hit points through the quest talent and 15% movement speed. Medivh's just scouting this out, but he's not going to make a move there, of course. So, sitting in the middle, there's going to be another hook attempt. He's going to try and fire that in. Actually, in this case he doesn't. Medivh sniffed them out, so I suppose that shut that down. But since they have a level 20 talent, they're trying to capitalize on it by that pressure that we're seeing now in the middle. Yeah, they go again for our boy Blaze. Gorge is there, but the portal, they're trying to gust him into a corner, but a ley line for Medivh shuts any kind of aggression out. Well, as I say that, the second hook connects and Diablo is gone again. And this time he's down for the entire duration. So nicely done. Team Rip has a big opportunity to take the last keep out and maybe end the game and therefore the series. The Enjoyers, even without a bounty attempt, are still being played to the wall here and have some huge problems. 42 stacks now for Stitches, and he's starting to really pick up the momentum. You can already see him zipping around here with the 15% additional movement speed that he has and starting to annoy the opponent. The core losing its shield and is losing hit points quickly as well. The jet propulsion misses. Core already down to 60%, and there's camps coming in, catapults coming in. The old man about to be destroyed. Deckard Cain is in trouble and in a ton of this, and Stitches just doesn't care. He has the hit points to tank it all. Leyline is out once more. Stitches is going for the aggression right underneath the core. 20%, 10, that's game, that's the series. The Enjoyers dropped out of Group A as Team Rip advances to face off against the Raccoons.